The wheel. It seems so simple, so obvious, but it's not just a round thing that spins. It's an idea, a massive conceptual leap that completely rewired how humanity interacts with the physical world. So today, we're going to explore how this one simple idea didn't just move objects, it moved civilization itself.
To really get why the wheel is such a big deal, let's just imagine for a second a world without it. Picture this. You're an ancient engineer. In front of you are thousands of massive stone blocks, each one weighing several tons. And your job? Build a monument that touches the sky. Seriously, how do you even begin? And wow, the difference is just staggering. Before the wheel, it was all about brute force. You were dragging things on sledges, trying to use clumsy log rollers, and you needed a massive labor force just to get anything done. But you introduce the wheel, the entire equation just flips. Suddenly, the effort required plummets, and the whole process becomes unbelievably more efficient.
All right, so let's really dive into what that pre-wheel world looked like. The fundamental problem everyone faced, from the farmers to the builders, was exactly the same: friction. They were all trying to solve this one simple yet absolutely immense challenge of moving heavy stuff from A to B.
Before about 3500 BCE, your options were, well, brutal. You could drag a heavy sledge, which was just exhausting. You could try putting logs under it to make it roll, but that was incredibly awkward and slow. You could load up some pack animals, maybe, if the terrain was right. Or you could just rely on sheer human muscle. Whatever you chose, you were fighting this constant losing battle against a powerful, invisible force.
And this is where the big aha moment happens. See, the invention of the wheel wasn't just about carving a round object. It was about understanding and completely defeating that invisible force through a brilliant, and I mean brilliant, grasp of physics. That invisible force is called sliding friction. You know that feeling when you try to push a heavy box across the floor? That drag, that resistance? That's it. It creates a ton of resistance, and it takes an enormous amount of effort to overcome. And that was the #1 obstacle for every single pre-wheel society. So, the solution? It was ingenious. The wheel doesn't just reduce friction, it performs a kind of magic trick. It fundamentally changes the type of friction you're dealing with. It swaps out that high-effort sliding friction for something way, way better: low-effort rolling friction. The force you need to roll something is just drastically lower than what you need to drag it. This isn't just an improvement, it's a whole new ballgame.
How much lower are we talking? Well, it can be at least 10 times less effort, sometimes even more. Just let that sink in for a second. A task that used to require 10 people, now maybe it only requires 1. This didn't just make things easier, it completely redefined what was physically possible for a human being to achieve.
And here's the crucial thing to remember. The invention wasn't just the round disc. It was the whole system, the wheel and axle. This simple machine has 3 key parts that have to work together: the wheel itself, the axle that it spins on, and the hub that connects them. Put them together and they perfectly translate a simple push or a pull into continuous, incredibly efficient rotational motion.
So, once this system was perfected and out in the world, man, it spread like wildfire. It completely reshaped ancient societies and kicked off what you could call the first great rolling revolution.
If we look at the timeline, the first real evidence of wheeled vehicles pops up around 3500 BCE, and it appears in a few different places, like Mesopotamia and Central Europe, all around the same time. Not long after, in the early Bronze Age, wagons and carts become totally common. And then, by the mid-Bronze Age, we see a huge upgrade: the spoked wheel, which makes things like war chariots possible and completely changes the face of battle. The impacts were, well, immediate and profound. For transport, it was a game changer. All of a sudden, wagons could move heavy loads like grain and timber over huge distances, which helped the first major trade networks explode. This efficiency had a ripple effect everywhere. Farms could now support bigger populations, and because it was so much easier to move building materials, cities could grow bigger and faster than ever before. And yeah, even warfare was transformed, with the chariot becoming the ultimate symbol of speed and power on the battlefield. But believe it or not, the story was just getting started. The physical wheel itself kept getting better and better, but more importantly, the idea of the wheel was about to evolve into something even more powerful: the cogwheel, or the gear. So first, the object itself improved. Those early solid disc wheels were strong, for sure, but they were incredibly heavy. Then, around 2000 BCE, the spoked wheel comes along, which is so much lighter and faster.
Then you get iron tires for better durability, and eventually a huge conceptual shift with the water wheel. Suddenly, we're using rotation not just to move things, but to actually harness energy. So why the big deal about solid versus spoked wheels? It all comes down to a concept called inertia, which is basically how much effort it takes to get something moving or to stop it. A heavy solid wheel has high inertia. It's hard to get going, but once it is, it's steady, perfect for a slow farm wagon. But a light, spoked wheel, it has low inertia. It can accelerate and change direction in an instant, exactly what you need for a fast, nimble war chariot.
And this, right here, is maybe the most important leap of all. The wheel went from being just a tool for transport, for moving stuff. Then it became a device for harnessing power, like in water mills and windmills. And from there, it became a component for controlling motion. We're talking about gears in a clock or a complex machine. That principle of controlled rotation is what makes all of that intricate technology possible.
This evolution, this journey of an idea, brings us right here to today. We're now living in a world where the legacy of that very first wheel and axle is absolutely all around us, often hiding in places we'd never even think to look. I mean, seriously, the legacy of controlled rotation is the very bedrock of our technological world. Think about it. It's in the spinning turbines of a jet engine, the electric motor in your car, the tiny platters in a computer hard drive, and the massive generators that power our cities. Every single one of those is a direct descendant of that first simple wooden wheel.
From a carved wooden disc in a marsh to a turbine on a jet engine, one simple principle continues to turn our world. It's a pretty amazing thought, isn't it? That one of the most transformative ideas in human history wasn't just an object, but a whole new way of seeing motion itself. It really makes you wonder, what other simple ideas might be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to change everything all over again?